Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm working with the project workbench and I have to deal with the storage. As you can see from the photo here, because the stock video was lost, we've been utilizing it and it's getting to be kind of out of hand. We need more storage. So the quick solution, or the solution that I see, is going vertical instead of horizontal with it. So what we're going to end up doing is building some shelves for the top of this and making it a little bit more functional for everything that's going on with it. So let's roll into it.
Okay, what I've done here is just take out the tabletop and whatnot. But this is going to be sitting on the tabletop, 3 foot tall. My material is 11 1/8. We're just going to leave it at that because I don't really want to rip it down with the table saw or anything like that. So it's a good width, and it's kind of finished. I'll show you all that stuff. Here is your width is 6 foot. And then just to remind myself, the top portion of it is going to be cut exactly to 6 feet. And then the top will lay on top of the actual sides. So that way I don't mess it up by not including the width of the boards itself. I'm no carpenter or furniture maker or anything like that. I'm just doing this to where I understand it. So yeah, that's how we're going to proceed on with this. The shelves, I'll worry about the shelves after I build this initial portion. And the left side's obviously going to be the same as the right side. No big deal. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is use the miter saw, rip saw, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be using this to clean up the edges from this factory edge. You can see it's a little bit rough. So do that, and then I'm going to split this in half, and that'll give me my vertical. Go. Nice clean cut. Nice even cut. Alright. This back edge is going to be the edge that's towards the wall. This front side is going to be that one that's facing out because it's a lot cleaner. So go ahead and cut this side too. Cool. There we go. Another nice, even, clean cut. No burning. Sweet. Next thing to do is we're going to split this in half. All right, referring back to our picture, we want to have the top of the platform set on top of this piece. So if I measured from the end, which would be that end over there, all the way to this mark, it's 3 feet. And if I measure from that end over there, it's 3 feet to this mark. So we have a little bit of an overlay. So if I cut this, I'd be short on both sides. But because the wood is 3/4 inch thick and it's going to be setting on top, I'm trying to shoot for exactly 3 feet. I know it doesn't really matter in the end of everything, but it's just for my personal training or whatever you want to call it, or practice. So what I did was measure to this point here, which is 3/4 inch shorter. So with the top of the wood setting on top of this, I hope I'm explaining that right, it's going to be 3/4 inch shorter. What I can do is take one of my trim pieces, line it up here, because this is 3/4 inch thick. Line it up here, and our line over here for 3 feet exactly is lined up. So when I cut this, I'm going to cut on this side of the line. So I'm going to run my mark all the way down it. And I'm going to put the blade on this side of the line. That way I have this long piece, or this straight piece, is going to be the top of this. So let's do it. Okay, so if I had to cut that explanation out, my wood is 3/4 of an inch thick, so I bumped the line over from 3 feet to 25 1/4. I'm cutting on the right-hand side of this for the kerf, and this will be the line that I'm using as a reference. I've taken the piece I've just cut, clamped it down to this bottom piece, and I've lined it up. So that way when I cut it, ideally both of these will be the same length. Okay, this is the 6-foot piece I'm going to use for the top. What I'm going to do is clean up the edges, and that'll be it for this piece. Now the other side. With the sides and the top done, we can focus on this middle tray or shelf. The height doesn't matter right now so much as the width does. So knowing that the thickness of the wood is 3/4, and we'll have 3/4 on each side. 3/4, yeah, times it by 2, so that gives us 6/4, right? And that equals 1 1/2. So we'll cut this one 1.5 inches short. Okay, once again, I'm going to use the saw to clean up the edges here. Okay, I've measured in 1.5 inches from 6 feet, so this is 70.5 inches, and this should give me the inner shelf for the topper. Here we go. One thing I didn't mention was I chose this side because it had this gnarly chip out of it. I do have some chipping over here, but I'll glue that down and it should be fine. Okay, with the help of a clamp and some things I had around the garage here, this is the basic layout of it. The distance, I think I'm going to go 1 foot, 1 foot, and then leave the rest of it at the bottom a little bit taller, so that way things can slide underneath it. But yeah, the distance seems about right there. And then I'll section this off, so it'll be 1 in the center and then 2 on the sides. I think it'll be just fine for all the storage I need. Okay, got the air nailer out. My dope on this was 90 psi. I think these are 1.5 inch nails. Yeah. So I'm going to do it on these 2 pieces of scrap to find out if I've got good penetration and not over penetration. Yep. 90 psi seems about it. They're right even with the top. Maybe a little bit further down, I can easily put a little bit of wood filler in those spots, and then it'd be good. All right, I'm working down here on the permanent working platform, which is also known as the floor. What I'm going to do is use this frame clamp to clamp these at a right angle, put a little bit of wood glue on the seam, and then use my nailer here to drive probably about 4 or 5 nails down through the top. I think these are 1.5 inches like I previously stated, so let's get to that. All right, I'm going to measure down on the inside of this 1 foot. I'm going to mark it. And then I'll draw a line down on the inside, do the same thing on the other side, and then put our shelf in here level with it so I have exactly 1 foot of space in the middle. And then I'll measure down another foot, and that would leave the rest of this as the interior, as the bottom. And then we'll work on the spacers. There, it's what we set out to accomplish today. Tomorrow I'm going to work on the second shelf down, which will be another foot, and then some dividers to put in here. And then I'm going to do a back. I've got a sheet of plywood, like 1/4 inch plywood. We'll cut it to the back of it, and that'll stabilize it from rocking back and forth. So yeah, we'll get on to it tomorrow. Next day, now it's time to build the third shelf, or the bottom shelf here. It's going to be 70 and 1/2 inches long. So bookshelf building skill level 1 achieved. Next thing to do is to do the dividers. I'm going to put 1 here in the center to brace this up. I'll have 2 and then 1 unless something else changes. That way everything kind of takes the sag out before I put the back on. And then, yeah, this is 1 foot, this is 1 foot, and then I'll have to figure out what this is down here because it's not this same distance. So let's get into that next. Okay, it's time to transfer the pattern of the shelving unit to the plywood backer. Okay, I've made my long cut, but I'm using the straight edge guide again. I've already set my square here to the cutting depth of the circular saw. So what I'm going to do is set the guard up with some clamps, and then we'll cut it. Of course, it pulled a scab all the way down, which is weird because it's actually a piece of plastic. This is a weird one. This may be something never seen before, but it's actually a piece of wax string in the wood, embedded in the wood. See it? It's pretty taut, and why that's in there, I don't know. If that's a manufacturing flaw or if that's something that happens, but that's a weird one. Okay, to attach the backing to cabinet, I've taken some 1-inch finishing nails and I've just cut them off to about 1/2 inch. Didn't need a whole inch going through the 1/4 inch into the stuff. So let's get on to lining this up and going through that. Okay, guys, that's it for the backing. Threw it on there. Used the belt sander to kind of even up some edges that were a little bit wonky from the cutting. But yeah, everything looks good. I have to touch up a couple spots of sanding, just nicks and things like that are in the wood itself, and blemishes. But I think we accomplished our goal of what's up there on the screen. Next thing to do is clear space and fit it onto the top of the table.
There it is, guys. Project Workbench is back together, and you can see that I've already started working with stuff. Things are starting to get organized. The rolls of all the vinyl, camera stuff, what have you. Breaking out the 3D printer, printing out some storage ideas, and yeah, looks like it's going to work out great. One thing I did have to do because of the extra weight is I threw a couple 2x4s under the back edge just to keep the weight from flipping the table. So yeah, there it is. I'll give you guys an update on anything that happens with it. Thanks for watching.